What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Bolden Experience podcast, where we have courageous conversations, where your difference makes a difference, and where boldness meets purpose. I'm excited because we got bold voices today, Lord. Two amazing bold voices, a king and a bold queen. And I'm excited, you all. So I want you to just sit back, relax, and enjoy this moment and take this in, because these bold voices are going to inspire you to use your bold voice to make a difference. But y'all know how we do every episode. We want to go ahead and get a prayer in, because I love to start with prayer, invite God into this amazing conversation, and then we're just going to get started. God, we just thank you for this moment on today, Father God. Each and every person that's joining us today, that someone will leave this podcast today feeling inspired and knowing that their bold voice matters, Lord Father God. For those who've been silenced, Lord, that they will be able to use their voice to be able to empower and uplift other people. Lord, we just thank you for this episode, being able to inspire someone else to be able to do what it is that they're called to do, Lord, because we're all here to make a difference in this world, and even in this world, in the most heaviness that's going on right now, Father God. We ask that this episode brings some inspiration, some encouragement, and some enlightenment to someone somewhere that's going to be viewing the Bolden Experience podcast. We thank you for this in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. It's important to make sure that prayer is a part of the foundation of what we do, because we need to be praying right now, y'all. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move into our first segment of the bold beginnings. I always tell you all I love to share a quote or something that just truly inspires me and that can inspire you as well. So I saw this quote. It said, "Every bold beginning starts with faith, not fear. The moment you step out, God orders your steps." There's so many people who want to do something, that want to put out, content, or want to do something creative, or just simply want to make a move in life. You can't allow fear to paralyze you from moving to the next level. It's important to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to take the first step and I'm going to trust God during the process. When I look at my career and I look at what I've been doing right now, it's always been a faith move and not a fear move, right? Because fear would just keep you making excuses of why you can't do something. But when you just step out on faith, you trust God during the process. Don't worry about how you're going to get the funding together. Don't worry about how everything is going to come together, because when people see you move and you're passionate about what you do, then God will align everything in your favor. So I want to encourage someone today. Maybe you're just sitting back waiting for things to happen. A lot of times we like to use that excuse, well, I'm waiting on God. But no, God is waiting on you to get it done. So push yourself, go forward, be a light for someone else, and know that whatever it is that you want to create and do right now, it's important and it's needed in the world right now. So get started on that, all right? So I hope that encouraged you all today as we were in our bold beginnings. And I hope that you get to write me, tell me about something that you were working on, or just how this episode or just this bold beginning inspire you to be able to start your journey. So with that being said, I'm going to go right into Behind the Bold, you all. It's time to introduce our first guest of the day. This guy he needs no introduction, because he's just amazing. I have his introduction here, y'all, but I'm just like, there's so much I can say about this amazing individual. But I'll start with saying he is an actor. He is an entrepreneur. He is a motivational speaker. He is the founder of OTM, Only the Motivated, inspiring others to live boldly and authentically. He uses his voice to raise awareness on mental health and suicide prevention. He also started, of course, in Differently Able, the musical, which we were just talking about before we started this episode. And he was also a Bolden Award honoree in 2023 for the Power to Empower Award. And when he speaks, there's some type of authenticity, but also some motivation that you would just get behind the words and what he says. So he needs no introduction. Mr. Nick Laureano, how's it going, my brother?
Brother, man, listen, if we didn't know each other, I would literally sit here and think you really did your research, man. I have goosebumps on my skin right now, just the fact that you introduced me like that. I want to say thank you for having me on your podcast, brother. I see what you're doing. You're doing so many amazing things. I've always been a huge admirer of you. And just to be on the podcast with you, man, I can't wait to see what the people have to say about this.
When Nick said he's in town, I'm like, I know you're here doing business and everything, but I wanted to make sure that I got a chance to get Mr. Nick Laureano on here, and it's something about an introduction that I feel like here at the Bolden Experience podcast we do. It's like affirming you and letting you understand that we see you, because that's what the Bolden brand is all about. But I want to just allow you, I gave your introduction, tell a little bit to the people who you are, a little bit about what you do, and then the purpose of Nick Laureano.
Absolutely, brother. So I've been speaking for about 6, 7 years now, and I never pictured me ever doing this ever. Like growing up, I never had ambitions or dreams to speak in front of 500, 1,000, 2,000 people. Like I was always that one kid that was sitting in the back of the class, didn't raise my hand, was too afraid to speak in front of people. But it was through my own personal struggles and experiences that led me on this path. Like I'm a huge mental health advocate. Before anything else, I always speak on mental health because throughout my personal struggles, I had some really dark days where I didn't think I could keep going. Brother, I'll be honest with you, I'm 30 years old, and I did not think for the life of me I'd even make it to 30.
Wow.
Because my parents was always hard on me growing up, always had these stigmas placed on me, like I had to be successful by a certain age. And, the first thing you want to do as a kid is you want to make your parents proud.
Right.
And that was my only ambition in life, was just to make them proud. But I was really just walking around not knowing who Nick was at all, because I was living in a facade of what other people wanted me to do. And I think that's what led me astray, thinking that I didn't really have a purpose in life. But deep down, we all know we have a purpose in life. I think it just takes a few bumps in the road or a few speed bumps to think, okay, well, maybe we do have something to live for. Maybe no matter what we go through as far as a struggle, some chaos, some darkness, like there's something there inside of you that the people or even the world just needs. And it took me some real soul searching, bro. I'll be honest with you. It took a lot of soul searching for me to figure that out. And I would be afraid of saying this on any public platform. Is I was in a very dark place. Like I wanted to take my life 3 times, bro, 3 times. And I had some people tell me when I first ever spoke on that, because I didn't even know how to say it. They were like, "You failed suicide 3 times?" I said, "I didn't fail. I survived. And that's a testimony in itself. And I think sometimes when you share your testimony, it intimidates other people because they don't know what their testimony is. They don't know what their purpose is. And I used to be afraid of sharing that because I didn't know who would receive it. And leading me now to being 30 years old and leading up to all the things I went through and I've overcame, one thing I can say is that, this is who I am. This is me.
Right.
And when you know who you are deep down at the center of your core, you won't ever shy away from that. And, being a speaker, I've made connections, met so many great people, including yourself.
Appreciate it.
We've known each other for a few years. We met on that app called Clubhouse.
Well, you had just a bold voice about you. And it's something about Mr. Nick here when he speaks. It's like an authoritative voice. And I was like, who is this guy? Because I remember just hearing you in a group with someone who we were friends with at the time. And you would just come in the room and you would speak. And it was just like you command the room and you command a space. And I just knew that was the type of anointing that you had when you speak. Because a lot of times everybody wants to be a motivational speaker. And some people, are not meant to be a motivational speaker. Some people just give themselves titles. But then there's someone like you who just comes along, and how when you speak to people, people listen and people feel a certain type of way. And you would just speak life and encouragement to people because you're such an influencer yourself. I know there was something that you said I wanted to back up with, because you said so much, you're growing up and your relationship with your parents. Is your relationship with your parents still to this day? How is it? And how, explain a little bit how that situation really got you into the motivational speaking.
So, and again, everything I say, my parents are amazing people.
Yes.
Like I feel growing up, they didn't really know how to be a parent.
Okay.
And that's no knock on them. I just think that it took me to figure out how to be an adult at a very young age, like finding that level of maturity to know that life needs me now. I can't wait till after high school or when I get my first job. Like life hit me at a very early age, so it humbled me in a sense, and it made me take on a lot of responsibility at one time. Like I had to look out for people. Like people always came to me for advice, and they always say, "How did you persevere through all these struggles that you're going through? You're only one man. How can one man take so much?" Right. And it's through our personal struggle where where we find ourselves. We find out who we are, what our purpose in life is, what we're meant to do. And throughout that time, like my parents didn't really check on me as much as I would like them to. And it's not, I didn't have any envy to them. Like I get it sometimes, like, their trauma might have inflicted onto me, and then it may have made me look like I was a bad person. But in reality, sometimes that generational trauma is a real thing. It gets passed down from person to person. Right. And you think that you're this horrible, negative, naive person. You think so less of yourself. But I had to stop myself in the moment when I was going through that and say, like, Nick, you're not a bad person.
Mm.
You may have gone through some bad things, but you're not a bad person. And I think that sometimes we just got to really check ourselves from time to time. Like, the things we go through don't define us. It's how we bounce back from it.
Ooh.
And it's a matter of me just being able to say, you know what, like, yeah, I went through it. It made me who I am. Like, one thing about me and two things for certain, I will never act like I'm better than anybody. Like, I want to make that very clear. Like, I know sometimes my voice can intimidate people, but my goal in life is to simply just be a kind person. Like, spread love, be kind, tell someone, hey, I'm proud of you, you're doing good. Like, those little things go so far. You don't know what someone's journey is. You have no idea what they're going through.
Right.
And
we need that at a time.
And I think
like this.
that's what led me to being a speaker. Like, I realized, and this is a huge epiphany moment for me at 20 years old when I was leaving my second job. I found out, like, I knew there was more to my life than just this, like clocking in for someone every day and just, not just kind of going with the motions. Like, I knew my purpose was to speak in front of God only knows how many people. And I knew that God had something for me. I just didn't know it at the time.
Right.
And leave me here, that's where we are.
So I know we spoke about, the suicide attempt 3 times. What was the moment or the light bulb that went off and say, you know what, I do have a purpose and I am meant to be here? What was that? Was that through the motivational speaking, or was there some instance in your life or some, part of your life that you experienced that just made you realize that I do have purpose?
So I'll be honest with you. On my third, this is a true story. On my third suicide attempt, I was literally in my room. Like, I had, like, this is a vulnerable moment. Trigger warning for anybody that's listening. Like, I literally had a sharp object in my right hand, literally about to go through with it. And as I'm going through with it, something stopped me. Like, I didn't know what it was. It was like an epiphany moment for me. It's like God was speaking to me like, no, Nick, this is not how you're going out. This is not how your life is going to end. And I didn't understand it because when sometimes you hear voices in your head, or you feel like sometimes you're just sitting with your own thoughts, like you think, maybe there's something really watching me right now. I don't even know what it is. And I didn't know because I was too young. I didn't know any better. But I knew that it was God. And in the back of my mind, I was like, God is telling me to not do this right now and not go through with it. And I knew deep down there was something more for my life than that. And it was in that moment when I stopped and I threw it on the ground and I said, no, this is not how I'm going out. I know God's got something for me. I might not even know what that is yet, but I know that he's got something for me. And it was in that moment that I found out who Nick was. Because I very well could have not been here right now sitting with you doing this. I very well could not be here.
Right.
But I am just forever grateful that he knew he knows something in us that we don't even know in ourselves. And I think sometimes we forget to give him the credit.
Yes.
Because God is always going to look out for you, whether you believe it or not. No matter in the midst of triumph or chaos, you might think you're losing all hope and all sense of who you are, but God is going to look out for you. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a walking testament to that.
Yes.
God does not lose faith in you.
I would say even, talking to people, that's why it's important. We're so often judging other people or looking down on other people, but you don't realize when you really get down to the meat and core that we have so much in common than we do that separates us, because I also struggle with mental health and, suicide attempts and things like that. And there was a part of my life where I just felt like I didn't have a purpose. I was like, I'm not supposed to be here, especially after losing my brother. But I think that's what really connected us and connected the core of our relationship, because we realized we have so much more in common when we really actually have conversations with people and really get to know people. Our stories can be similar, and that's what really connects people at the human core as well. I really want to get into Only the Motivated, because I love the title of your brand, Only the Motivated. What inspired you to really just say, you know what, I really want to bring about this change, and how has your platform helped to change lives of other people?
So that's a very beautiful question, and I appreciate you highlighting that. So, true story, like, obviously, I have a few tattoos on my body. This one in particular is where it first started. Like, I got this when I was 21 years of age, and the brand name just started as a hashtag. Sometimes on social media, you just put hashtags. I literally started as a hashtag, and it became this viral movement. Like, true story, kid you not. Like, everywhere I went, I would always tell people, no, I'm only the motivated. And they would always ask me, what is that? Like, what's the meaning of it? And then once I started to say it more and speak on it and put it all over my social media, people started to catch on. And here's the funny part about that. people started to put this hashtag in their Instagram and social media bios, and it started to catch on to a crazy movement. Oh, wow. And people would send me screenshots of them putting it. And I still have those photos to this day, because sometimes, when you're in a moment of yourself and your own thoughts, sometimes you forget how far you've come. And I had to go back and look at that literally a month ago, and I'm sitting with myself. This is so crazy to think that something that started 9 years ago from a simple hashtag, literally didn't know where it was going to go. It just turned into a crazy movement. And ever since that moment, I was like, I got to make clothing. But then, I kid you not, my first article of clothing, I still have it. I actually framed it. It's just a T-shirt of a hashtag, Only the Motivated. And it was very bizarre handwriting. It was like something I look back on and I'm like, you know what? That's not what it is now, but it's even better. And I made it into this beautiful clothing brand. And people just think it's just clothing, but it's really more than that. It's a symbol of you. Mm-hmm. It's a symbol of what you are and what you've gone through. Like, when you wear this, I want people to feel not only empowered, but they feel a sense of like knowing that there's more in life than what they think. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in our job, meeting new people, being an entrepreneur, whatever our title is. We get so caught up in just trying to just fit in and be liked by everybody and have conversations, just be a good person. And sometimes we forget to applaud ourselves. We don't do that enough. And I'm realizing now at 30 years old, like, it's okay to take a moment and pause and simply just clap for yourself. It's not a bad thing. Right. I did it the other day and it felt so good. Like, it's like in the beginning of this episode when you highlighted me for my title. I got goosebumps hearing that. Like, I literally felt goosebumps when I'm sitting here clapping for myself. Like, that's such an amazing moment. And people will look at you like you're being selfish, but you're not being selfish. It's not a bad thing to be selfish. You have to be selfish sometimes. Yeah. It's okay to clap for yourself.
Give yourself
really
flowers.
Is.
Yeah. And there was a moment in time in my life where I just couldn't receive compliments from other people because I didn't take time to really take it in for myself. And it's very, very important for that, and that's why the introduction is so important, to kind of remind people, because we do so much, just like you said. Sometimes we don't realize that we need to take a step back and look at all the things that we have created over the years and have, accomplished, even in your career. And I remember even when I first saw you on the Clubhouse app, I used to say the only motivated guy, because that only the motivated really just stood out to me, because I think you had the shirt at the time. Yes. And all of that. And I'm just super proud of where you've taken the brand and how you have just impacted so many different people, such as myself. When I think of inspiration, I think of a person who just truly inspires me. It's definitely you, just being connected to you and knowing you. But I wanted to give you time to also answer the second part of that. How has the brand really affected other people? I know you're pouring into the children and the youth, and I know you also do, basketball. You're a coach. Yes. Tell me, how has the brand really just impacted other people?
So the brand itself is really, like I said, it's like people think it's just clothing, but it's really just a symbol of hope and dreams. Like people think dreams is just something you wish when you're sleeping, but dreams are much more than that. Like every time I feel like you have to be your own ambassador. Like every day I'm always wearing my brand, like no matter what it is, if it's something as simple as a hat, pants, shirts, a sweatshirt, whatever the case is, because that's a symbol of me. I look back on when I started this and I think, how can I relate to the public eye? How can people catch on to this? And the first thing I did was not only just promote it, I promoted it insanely. Like I would post maybe 4 or 5 times a day, to the point people were like, okay, I have to catch on to this. What is this? Because they're seeing it so much. And people will look at you like you're being boastful or cocky, but it's not being boastful or cocky. When you believe in yourself, you're not being cocky at all. And I'm a firm believer in that. When you're confident in what you do, people are going to catch on to that, because the first thing is, like, you have the Bolden platform. You are the brand and the vision behind that. When they see you doing that, they think, I not only believe in the brand, but I believe in the individual. And I think that's what's most important when catching a public eye, is when people have to not only just believe in the brand, they have to believe in you as the person. Right. And once they see that you're as confident and passionate in it as you are with them, all right, how can I buy this? What do I have to do? How can I support this? And I think that's how I got a lot of public eye and attention, was just promoting it crazy, like every single day, like to the point where I was almost annoying people. And yeah, like, we always talk about your light will intimidate a lot of people, but you can't stop shining your light just because you're supporting yourself. Like, you sometimes have to keep shining no matter what. Right. And that's what I kept reminding myself, like, but Nick, stay humble. And I know you mentioned, I'm gonna circle back to you. You always told me, don't be too humble. I remember sometimes you would always tell me that, but
that's leadership. Humble is enough to know that I'm not, how I look at humility is knowing that you are, there's something that sets you apart from the rest, but knowing that you're not to the point where you're better than anyone, where you can't be humble and take in advice or criticism, but understanding, look, I know this, I got this, you know what I mean? I'm at a point in my life where I'm understanding that there's greatness within me, and I don't have to settle for less than what I deserve. And that's just a level of humility, but knowing that, I am, great, but I don't allow myself to get to the point where I'm too far high that I can't take in criticism or I can't take in advice of other people, or if I'm in the wrong that I can't be corrected. You know what I mean? So there are levels to this. And I think I love what you said about leadership, just understanding that you're great because people are going to follow you when they know that you are passionate about something and that you're going to put your all into it. And that's when other people are going to want to come along and gravitate to what you do. So
that was beautifully said, man.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Public speaking has always been a we're going to come back with the segment for the next round of this, and we're going to go ahead and move on to a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk more about what it is that you do. So we'll be right back with the Bolden Experience podcast. Welcome back to the Bolden Experience podcast. We're in the middle of a courageous conversation with the amazing man himself, Nick Laureano. He's just talking about his life experience. We're talking about only the motivated. But I got to ask, because I know for me, I have a fear. I'm working on that, the fear of public speaking, because there's so many people who want to get into motivational speaking and they want to use their voice and their platform. But sometimes most of the time, public speaking can be very intimidating to people. But this is your field. This is your brand. Tell me a little bit about it. Do you have a fear of public speaking, and how do you overcome that fear?
It's funny that you asked that. That was the first word I was thinking of, was intimidating. Like when I first took on this journey, I was I remember my first talk that I ever did. It was actually at my local high school. And I'll be honest with you, man, it was in front of 600 kids, and I was very scared for my life. The first 3 minutes, I stuttered every word, and I'm like, oh. But I went back. I think this is where you learn to be your biggest student, like your biggest supporter. You go back and look at the old archives, and you think, wow, like that's who I was. But you just kind of outgrow that phase. But public speaking for me has been. Sometimes I still get a little nerve-wracked because sometimes I just you have that thought in the back of your mind, you want to be perfect. But then I also have to remind myself that perfect is not something you chase. It's not there to begin with. Like, just be yourself. Be yourself and just start. Like, for any rising motivational speakers or creators that want to start in this field, like, it's really just being yourself. That's what they're going to resonate with. Like just the message you have. Like, it's really sharing your own personal struggle and the things that you've gone through that really people are going to really just tap in with. That's what they want to hear. They want to hear something that they can relate to, something that they see you as an authentic human being. You're not just a robot reading off the teleprompter. Like, that's not who you are. Like, you have to share your story boldly.
Yeah.
Share your story boldly. And
because people resonate with, your story. Because I always tell people, you could sell a brand, you could try to sell a book, you could try to sell whatever it is that you do. But if people don't connect with your story, then they're not going to want to pay attention to anything that you have to say. And even I've got the cliche advice from one of my mentors, was like, just picture everyone in their underwear. That's how you really get to a place of not being fearful of speaking on stage. And I'm like, that don't work.
No,
not for me.
Honestly, I'm going to piggyback on that. My mentor told me the same exact thing. That's why I'm over here chuckling, because my mentor, when I first took my first talk, he said, just picture everybody naked. And I'm like, I don't want to see that. I just don't want to envision that. And I think that was the first thing I said. And I'm like, I'm sitting here, okay, well, if I go up on stage, what helped me actually, right? So the first talk I did was lights like this, and I couldn't see past the lights. So I just pretended it was just me speaking with myself.
Right.
I just pretended nobody was there. And I think that kind of helped me relieve the stress a little bit, because I was so worried about it being perfect. I just imagined that nobody was even there. And that helped me a lot. So I went with that mentality going after every talk after that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to imagine that nobody's even in the audience and those seats are empty. And that alone just helped me naturally take the conversation.
So what is Nick's greatest fear? Because you're a man of power. You're a man of resilience. What is one of your greatest fears, if you have any?
I think my biggest fear, if I can put one on, is the fear of settling. I think that's my biggest fear, is because sometimes when we know we're destined for greatness and we hear it from so many people telling us, oh, I think you should do this. I think you'll be great at that. I see so much greatness in you. Like, it's great to hear those things. It's so profound to hear someone speak life into you. And that I think sometimes we need that. We need that more often than we do. But I think sometimes you don't realize that you have it in you. Like, you always had a gift. And I think the minute you were born, you had that gift. God made you with that gift. And I think sometimes it takes us years or days or weeks to figure out what that gift is. And I always remind myself, like, don't settle. Don't get comfortable. Because the minute you get comfortable, you forget why you started. And I think that's the biggest thing, is you have to remember why you're doing this. Like, you're not doing it for likes, follows, or views. You're not doing it for materialistic value to get a paycheck. You're not doing it for that. You're doing it to impact lives positively. And that's something I remind myself. I want to impact one person. If it's one person today, then I did my job. I did my civic duty. I did my godly duty, was to impact one specific person that needed to hear either my message or your message. And that is why we do what we do, brother. That's
I love that. To never settle, because we grow outside of our comfort zone. So when you get too comfortable, then you got to check in with yourself every now and then, and know that there's more in store for you.
Absolutely.
You were my Bolden Honoree in 2023 at the Bolden Awards. I want to know your give a little bit about your experience when you were asked to be one of my honorees in 2023 at the inaugural Bolden Awards, and what that experience was for you, because I felt like it lit something in you, because even after you got your award, I just felt like it sparked something greater, even more in you. But tell us a little bit about that experience.
It sure did. And for those that are listening, the Bolden Award, the first ever Bolden Award show, was incredible. You had to be there. You had to be there. And the one thing that was going through my mind when you first called me and asked me to be an honoree, I said, this guy's messing with me. Like, is there a prank? Is there someone on the other line? Is this a three-way?
Ashton Kutcher over here.
Ashton Kutcher. Yeah. But I literally thought that. I'm like, how could someone like me be even suggested for something like this? But then I had to remember, this is your God-given purpose. And your purpose is going to encourage and inspire a lot of people. And that's what I was like, you know what, Nick, take this and run with it. And even if it seems unlikely that it will happen again after this, just take this and run with it. And I was beyond grateful. You heard me on the phone. I think I can remember exactly what I said. I said, brother, I'm honored. I'm honored from the bottom of my soul that you even thought of me. And circle back, fast forward to that night. I can remember when I was walking up to that stage, I had so many goosebumps going through me. I didn't even feel like I was going to do a talk. I felt like it was a whole new feeling I never felt before. And to be highlighted in front of people that I knew and even didn't know, that for me was everything. That was like an iconic moment that I will never forget. And I always, every time Deontay and I talk, I always say, he is the guy that honored me before anybody. And I always have to give flowers where it's due.
Yeah. And we had that on video, actually, of you going on stage and just, the experience in itself. And I was just honored that you, felt that, that I was enough to just come here and accept your award and the experience, the Bolden experience in itself. What makes Nick bold?
I'm going to be honest with you, very, very, very professionally honest with you. I think the one thing that makes me bold is I'm fearless. Fearless. I mean, even though I'm human, I have fears like everybody else. I think the one thing about me is I'm never in a space of stagnancy. I never want to be stagnant. I always want to be doing something. But I also have to remember that burnout is a very real thing.
Yes.
No matter how professional we are and the things that we're partaking in our lives, there's so much time where we don't realize that we're burning ourselves out. Like, I always take rest. And I think that's what makes me bold, is because I don't always have to be doing something 24 hours of the day. I can still be making an impact while absolutely doing nothing. And people will look at me crazy like, no, well, you always have to be doing something. Like, no, you don't always have to be doing something. Like, even just the smallest bit, whether it's going for a walk to clear your mind, talking to a friend that you love and that appreciates you. Little things like that, they go a long way. Like, the fact of kindness is not about the accolades you obtain. It's about the fact that you can touch somebody's life. That's what kindness is. And I think sometimes we forget that. Like,
And that makes a bold impact in itself, because we think that making a bold impact means we have to do something grand. Sometimes just giving someone an encouragement or enlightening someone or, telling someone that you appreciate them, that makes a bold difference.
Sure
so I'm glad that you mentioned that. All right. Before we wrap up with you and I want to do a small game called OTM Unlocked. So I'm going to give you a scenario because you are a man of encouragement and enlightenment, and you're going to give me a quick motivational message that you would give to this individual based on the scenario that I give you. All right.
Okay.
All right. So someone just lost their biggest opportunity. What's your bold message to someone who feels like they have failed because they lost a big opportunity?
You didn't fail. You learned. And I think sometimes we get that confused, is that we think that everything we lose in life is a failure. But there's no, I don't even look at failure like that. I look at it as a lesson learned. You're not losing, you're not failing, it's a lesson learned. And I think sometimes, especially for me, I've lost a lot in my life, whether it's people, objectives, certain opportunities that could have been coming my way, but they just fell short. I always remind myself that another opportunity is going to come knocking on your door. So why would you put yourself down to thinking that you're not good enough to get that again? If you're good enough to get it the first time, you're good enough to get it again.
Right.
So keep going, stay on the path.
And we say here, no losses, only lessons learned. So I'm glad that you put that out there. Great job. All right. Someone feels unseen and unheard in their journey. Motivate them right now.
If you feel unseen and unheard, just know you're probably around the wrong people. You're around the wrong people. If your circle doesn't inspire you, motivate you, or push you to be a better person or even a better entrepreneur, you're around the wrong crowd. The people that are always around you are going to uplift you and encourage you no matter what you're doing, no matter how big or small it may be.
Right. I like that. Come on, Nick. Nick is on it today, y'all. All right. A person wants to quit chasing their dreams due to constant rejection. What would you tell them?
You're not living for the cheers. If you live for the cheers, you'll die by the booze. You have to remember that people are not going to always agree with what you do. You have to be okay with that. There's going to be people that come into your life for a reason and a season, and you have to learn the difference between the two. This is your life. You decide what happens next. God knows what he's doing with you. Now you got to learn to be open-minded to it.
And let me add that too. Sometimes rejection is God's protection, because sometimes we think that, we're being rejected, but it's like, no, it's a redirection. Sometimes, it's not the open door for us. And a lot of times we're too stubborn to see that, but we notice it afterwards. A young person is struggling with mental health and think that they don't matter. What advice would you give them?
I would say you do matter. You've always mattered, whether you believe it now or not. And if people are telling you that you don't matter, they're wrong. They're wrong. Don't give in to that, because I used to think the same thing. But you do matter. Everybody's life matters.
Yes, you matter. Y'all heard it from Nick. And the last one, if you could sit at the table with 3 bold individuals, who would they be, or what would you say?
Ooh, that's a good one. One of them got to be you, because I'm inspired by you, bro. Listen, I've never told you this, but I'm inspired by you. I see the things that you do, so you definitely got to be one of them. If I had to pick the next 2, it would probably have to be Denzel Washington was the next one.
Oh, that's a bold one.
Crazy enough, probably Mark Wahlberg. And the reason why I say him is because, like, you and those 2 individuals, you guys all have a certain spunk of energy that you bring out the better in people. Like, they just have this not intimidating kind of energy, but this energy that makes you want to be like, reevaluate your life. Like, okay, how can I be better? How can I improve? What can I do to make myself not only mentally, physically, and emotionally, or even spiritually stronger, but it makes me get out of my comfort spot.
Oh, I like it. Y'all, he done put me at the table with Denzel and Mark Wahlberg.
You deserve to be
I must
there,
be
bro.
doing something right.
No, you are.
I appreciate it. Well, I definitely appreciate you. I want you to, give an opportunity to be able to plug in your social media. Where can people find you? And let everybody know what else you have coming up, so we can support your bold journey.
Absolutely, brother. So you can find me at nicklaureano.com. That is my main website. My social medias are at OTMNick, all one word, no under parentheses, no periods, no nothing, because I know there's a few different OTM Nicks out there, but I don't know who they are. So hopefully,
it's only one great.
And I appreciate that, my brother. As far as that, I actually have a speaking tour this fall going into the spring. So I'm speaking at 6 high schools and 4 elementary schools in my area, and then I have one coming up in New York in January 20th.
Okay.
I'm speaking at a community college in New York. So as of right now, I'm just focusing on my speaking tour. I actually am in the process of writing a book. This is a long time because Deontay's been on my butt about this.
Yeah, because he's going to come on here and talk about that book because he's going to finish it.
Because that's something I've been putting off on the back burner. I'll be truthfully honest about that. I've been putting it on the back burner for a while, but something I've definitely wanted to do for a long time, and I think it's time to let the world see the greatness. So definitely stay tuned for that. That book is coming soon. I will give the title if you're okay with me saying that. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but I will say the title.
We're getting an exclusive here at the Bolden Experience
I will say
Podcast.
that.
Come on.
The title of the book is called Power of Your Scars.
Ooh.
The Power of Your Scars. So it's gonna speak a little bit in depth of mental health and being able to overcome your certain specific challenges. And I'm excited to see what people got to think about this because I'm pouring my heart and soul into this. So it's almost like they're reading it through my lens.
Right.
And I'm grateful for that. So.
And I want to give you a little bit of advice with that because sometimes we get caught up into what other people think. As long as you put it out and you are approving of it, it really doesn't matter what else because everybody's going to have their criticism and what they have to say. But as long as you're proud of what you do, I had to learn that from my first book. That's all that matters, bro. And the fact that you're actually doing it and putting it out there, it means a lot. So I'm excited about your journey. I'm just excited that you came here today as well. Also announced that Nick will be one of our bold speakers at the Bolden Awards 2.0, you all. So I'm excited. He's going to come in and speak about breaking generational curses. And you heard his story here first. So thank you so much for just finding me worthy of coming on here to speak to me, speak with me today. And
brother, the honor's mine. The honor's truly mine.
Yes, you are. So make sure you follow Nick on his platform and make sure y'all connect with him. Stay tuned for his book that's coming out soon. Thanks again, Nick. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back with our queen of bold voices. So y'all stay tuned. Welcome back to the Bolden Experience Podcast. We are in our last and final Behind the Bold. And I have an amazing individual here as well. I told you I had a bold king and a bold queen. So we're about to get right into it. She is a powerhouse, an actress, a model, a bold entrepreneur, and an advocate for Christ. And she has definitely been an advocate for people who have been overlooked because I feel like she has a beautiful journey that she's going to share with us. She's also a podcaster herself, and she played Majesty in Differently Able, the musical that was premiered and debuted last year in November. And she will be hosting the Bolden Awards 2.0 with Silas Sulmilky. Let's give it up for the one and only Miss BeLoved Dynasty. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Did I do good with that introduction?
You did phenomenal.
Okay.
I'm feeling like I'm somebody.
You know, I try. You know, Nick told me I was on the roll, so I was like, I think I'm on the roll today.
Yes.
So how have you been? And give us a little bit more insight into who Miss BeLoved Dynasty is.
Well, BeLoved Dynasty is first and foremost, like you said, an advocate for Christ because I don't feel like he get the recognition.
He does.
Baby, he does his big one. The big G, not the little one.
Come on now, Big G.
And then secondly, I am a mother and an actress, which is actually my passion. I love what I do when I do it because it takes me to another place. Like I don't feel like it's work. You know, I think when you get to that point, that is what you should be doing. Also, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm always thinking of things that could help bring people from pain to paradise, and that's actually my logo. So that's who I am.
Yes. And we have been friends. I was thinking of counting. We've been friends for about 5 years now, but I do know that when I first met you, you were doing Tats, the podcast, and you have been consistent with that. Tell me a little bit about the motivation and inspiration behind Tats, because I just love what it stands for, and you're going to tell us in a minute, but also the journey of just sharing people's testimonies, because that's what I'm all about, sharing bold testimonies. So give us a little bit more insight into that.
So how Tats came about is the Holy Spirit, you know, he is our teacher. He will lead you into what he wants you to do, and you just got to go with the flow. And you know you're going down the right flow when people are smiling, when they hear what you're doing, when they're happy, when you talk about it. I've come to learn that, you know, I was raised in church. So back in the day, shared their testimonies. And I think that's what helped other people get through what they were going through, and they didn't feel alone in their, situations. And nowadays, it's just it's just, I'm trying to be nice. But
fine.
anyway, they don't share testimonies
Yes.
anymore, okay?
They don't.
And not only that, when people do try to share, it's like people judge them, and I don't like that.
Yes.
I feel like, who are you?
Right.
But anyway, that's to each his own. So I said, okay. And then when the Holy Spirit gave me the name, and I was like, oh, that is true, because that is the word of God. You overcome by the testimonies and the blood of the Lamb. So
Right.
TAT stands for testimonies are transparently saving, because when we get tatted up, that's for life, right?
Right.
Holy Spirit, his word, what? Is for life, right?
Right.
Is forever. So that's the closest thing that people can match well, with that. So I was just in love with it, and I am working on season 6.
Come on, season 6.
But I am not starting season 6 until I get enough followers on Facebook in order to go live.
Okay.
And enough guests. So if you guys want to share your testimony, you can follow me on Tats Exclusive Podcast. That is on Instagram and Facebook. And you can DM me and share your story, because I think what we're going through nowadays, people need to hear that they're not alone. People need to hear, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one going through that. Or I thought that only happened to me.
Right.
Or, and it's in the generations before us, they were all on the hush hush and the quiet. And I think this is why it's a lot of mental health issues nowadays, because we have to recover and break the bloodline curses. So
Right.
it's time to speak up.
Yeah, and I think the creative way of doing that, creating platforms, creating a platform like this and the Bolden Awards, that's why it's important with stories, because we have to find creative ways of doing that, because testimonies are still out there. It's just finding the right platforms for people to be able to share that as well. And what a lot of people also are learning from you is that you are a businesswoman and an entrepreneur. As a woman, but also a woman of faith, what are some challenges that you have been facing or have faced being an entrepreneur?
Ooh, great question. What I faced is support. I think that is how people win, is support.
Mm-hmm.
One person sees, but I feel like it's like you got to know somebody
Mm-hmm.
to get to where you're trying to be.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you try using outlets with marketing, it's been a struggle in that area as well, because I have a product that speaks for itself. It works beautifully, and this is the reason why I am an ambassador for it, because it changed my life. And the struggles has just been marketing, I would say, and getting that support you need, because you see a lot of people like, oh, they support this person, because they have a certain amount of followers, or because it might be a household name, instead of giving other people a chance, like, give the originals a chance,
That's true.
That's how the household names became where they are, So I think that's probably where the struggle is.
Yeah, and that happens even in entertainment. Everybody wants to connect to the person with the most followers because that's how they feel. But to me, when you continue to be, authentic and you stay, your original self, you will always find that there will be a place for you, in that. But you were also a part of the musical, Differently Able, the musical. Tell me a little bit about that experience, because I know that, this was your first stage production, correct? No? Oh, okay. Well, you ain't new to this. You true to this. But tell me a little bit about that experience, because was it your first musical?
My first musical.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
stage.
All right. So tell me, because you did an amazing job playing Majesty, which was a character who had autism in the stage production. For those who don't know, I created a musical in 2024 titled Differently Able, which is based off of the book that deals with children who are overcoming bullying and, self-acceptance in the midst of their journey of being disabled. And I wrote the original music and everything, and BeLoved was actually one of the stars in it. So tell me a bit about that experience and what it was like for you.
First of all, the experience was amazing for me. It was difficult because that was my first musical, and I'm not a singer.
Right.
So just being able to do that was a challenge for me, which is good because as an actress, you don't want to stay in a box. You always want to grow, and I don't ever want to be that actress where they only know me for this. I want to be a mystery. Oh, what she's gonna do next, or and that's just how I am. But I love the experience because it gave me a chance to learn people with autism, to see how they are and how they work, and they're very amazing people. I used to work with people with autism, so I have family members that have autism, so I've been around autism a lot, so it made my experience a lot easier because I had people to, I even have followers that have autism, and it just blesses my heart because I love when you brought the play to life because it honored people with disabilities.
Yes.
And I was able to relate because I had recently broken my leg and became disabled in a way. I can't run like I used to. I can't walk like I used to as of right now, okay? Because, baby, God it already healed me. By his stripes, I am healed.
Amen.
And just like how the other people with autism, it allowed me to understand what I need to pray for them because I'm believing God for their healing as well. But it was a great experience. I really enjoyed. I love Majesty. She's such a. I like taking some things of her into my personal life.
Yes, that's
She's
an
so
actress.
bold. She's so bold.
Yes.
I love it.
And you did an amazing job, and I just appreciate you for that. And recently, I just announced that you're also going to be one of the co-hosts for the Bolden Awards 2.0. And the reason why I selected, of course, you and Silas is because y'all are two of my closest, friends, who've become family. But I just love your commitment. When you say you're going to do something, you're a woman of your word. You're a true supporter, and you're a true friend. And I was like, I definitely want to make sure I have someone who's connected to the Bolden Awards that can really showcase that and be an amazing, because I was looking all over, but then God was just like, your host is right there. So tell me about that experience, and what do you look forward to bringing at the Bolden Awards 2.0, May the 23rd of 2026?
Oh, I'm excited because I've always wanted to be a host, just to say I was a host. So I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Thank you once again.
Oh, yes.
First and foremost, like I said, I like being a mystery, so I can't even say what I'm going to bring to the table, but you just have to, hint, hint, get your tickets right now at the boldenexperience.com.
Yes, and Nigerian attire. I can't see what you're going to have and what you're going to wear.
Oh, I'm showing up
Silas,
now, baby.
Yeah, Silas said he's going to give you some, he going to make sure your Nigerian attire is off the chain, so I'm excited
to see what it's going to look like.
Yes. And what makes, as we close out the interview, what makes BeLoved Dynasty bold? I have to ask every guest that.
What makes me bold is I'm not afraid to speak up. Even if I might not want to, or when I see a need or I feel like someone else can't speak up for themselves, I'll do it for them. And that's what makes me bold, because a lot of things continue on in history because someone didn't speak up. Someone didn't take action. And that's what makes BeLoved Dynasty bold.
Yes, and you are the boldest of them all. I'm excited. So go ahead and plug in your social media. Let everybody know where they can find you and what maybe products or services you are offering for them. This is your time to shine, so I'm going to let you handle that.
Okay. Well, you can follow me once again on Tats Exclusive Podcast to share your testimony with me on Facebook and Instagram. And also, I am an actress, so I do go live every day. If I don't go live, I'm gonna post something on my YouTube channel, which is BeLoved Dynasty, and that is BeLoved, and the regular spelling of Dynasty. And if you guys want to take that amazing journey with me to becoming a worldwide actress, and also the product that I sell is healthy sanitary napkins. They're Rain amazing pads. Even men wear them. So if you want to learn how, just DM me, or you can follow me on official Welcome to Paradise on Instagram to get the product. The link is in the bio, or you can just go straight to my website, which is welcometoparadise.life, and that's life with an F as in Frank. And last but not least, I am doing this mental, what Nick was explaining on his part. Mental is super important. And exercise and boxing can definitely take you there and get you clear minded. So I've been taking that journey. So if people want to follow me or get inspired, you can see that on my TikTok, official BeLoved, all one word.
All right. Y'all know you heard it here first. Make sure y'all follow her. And our purpose picks of the day, make sure you guys are connected with BeLoved at a Tats Exclusive Podcast. Make sure you all are following her, the amazing journey that she has been doing, bringing so many testimonies to the forefront. It will inspire you. So I definitely want to make BeLoved's podcast, Tats Podcast, our exclusive purpose pick of the day. I also want to let you all know that the Bolden Awards 2.0 tickets are now on sale for an exclusive early bird purchase. So make sure you all go to www.theboldenexperience.com. Get your tickets now because you don't want to miss this. We have a full 3-day, 4 events that are bold and ready for you all to be a part of. So on May the 21st at 6 p.m., we have the Bolden Your Story workshop. So if you're looking to turn your bold story into your purpose and you want to know how to convert your story into your superpower, you definitely want to make sure you go ahead and get your tickets. I will be instructing that May the 21st at 6 p.m. Then on the 22nd, we're going to have our Bolden Brunch, which is going to be our networking experience. So come and be a part of that, where our bold speakers, our bold honorees, and everyone is coming together to celebrate, but also to network and collaborate as well. On May the 22nd at 6 p.m., we're going to have the Bolden Runway. So we're going to be out here turning our boldness into couture, and we're going to have an amazing runway that's going to be showcasing some Nigerian attire. And then on the 23rd, you all, it's going down at 5 p.m. The golden carpet starts, and we're going to be honoring some amazing individuals on May the 23rd. So come and be a part of this experience. You want to get your tickets now because up until December the 31st, tickets are at a discounted rate. After the 1st, we're going tickets with prices will be going up. So you want to make sure that you are part of this experience and take advantage of this opportunity right now. Our Bolden shout out of the day goes to BeLoved Dynasty. I want to shout her out today. So she's doing amazing things. So I definitely want to make her my Bolden shout out. Not only is she an amazing person and tenacious and bold, but she's also brilliant in what she's doing and making a bold impact. So let's make sure that we are shouting her out and all of her greatness and boldness and fabulousness. She is definitely our Bolden shout out of the day. Also, if you would like to be a sponsor the Bolden Awards, or sponsor this podcast, head over right now to www.theboldenexperience.com, where we have exclusive offers for you. We want to help promote your business and brand, not only on this podcast, but you want to get it in front of people at the Bolden Awards, right? So make sure you're headed over to theboldenexperience.com and be a part of this movement of showcasing who you are as an amazing individual, as a business, or as a brand. So if you would like to follow the Bolden Experience podcast, you can follow us now on Instagram at the Bolden Experience. There you can get all of our clips and information about all the upcoming things that are happening with the Bolden Experience podcast. You can also follow me on my personal account at Deontay Bolden Productions. This is where I have all my production stuff and all the great information concerning the Bolden Awards. But if you have a bold story and you're ready to get your story out there and you want to come share with me on the Bolden Experience podcast, all you have to do is email me your bold story at theboldenexperience@gmail.com. I'm always reading stories to see who I want to bring on to be a special guest like Nick and BeLoved on the Bolden Experience podcast. With that being said, be bold, be brave, and amplify your bold voice so the world has no choice but to experience your greatness. I'll see y'all on the next one.